Hi, welcome back to All About the Alternative. One of my things I've been looking at with my channel here has been social media concepts, which tie into behavioral science and humanities. And so what we're going to look at is, this is an introduction to, well, it's an introduction to my introduction, which I did as a live the other day. And so if you'll stick with me, we're going to talk a little bit about it here. Hi, so you may have seen that I did a live on the other day on Wednesday, and that live was all about a discussion about behavioral sciences and humanities. It's a discussion, and I'm opening the floor for something I wanted to do a long time ago. Um, I had some ideas and some things that were being discussed with some people that I knew, and I wanted to put some theories into a context that I could actually, that was actually the way that I could put some theories behind and some theology behind. And someone actually said to me, well, I said to them actually, I'd love to have gone into theology or something like that. And I said, well, and then they said to me, well, why can't you? And the wheel started turning, I guess, at that point to say, you're right, I could. And so I started looking up all the information that I could possibly find, and this was some years ago. I looked up all this information and that, and started putting my theories to some some references and some things that I could actually put behind. And so that's where all this came from. There are a couple hundred books actually to this. There are some actual introductions to some of the areas, and then there is, of course, supplementary readings for them. And I have, even though the ones I already had, I'm actually learning that there are more that I can add to it. And so I'm going to be doing that. And so this is basically behavioral and humanities, and it's a discussion about them, although it is technically the course text for them. And we'll adapt it to how it can be used. As you may see, when I did the introduction to behavioral science, in that book, there is a second introduction to behavioral science book as well, which we're going to cover too, and that'll probably be the next one. And there's an introduction to humanities, and we'll cover that. And then we go into the other things as well that both of those branch out from, and of course that is the theology and philosophy, the psychology, the culture and religion. And for that I'm planning on actually covering a wide variety of cultures and religions and lifestyles. And we'll discuss a lot of them, and I'm looking forward to that open discussion for that. There's going to be relationships, gender studies is actually a part of that as well. There is history and government. You'll probably see that a lot of it is probably focused on my understanding of Canadian side, but I'm opening that discussion, of course, to to other places, to obviously U.S. History and government issues, and also the other places around the world, and how their government works, and how they're different from ours, or the ones I'm used to. And that's a whole other part of that discussion as well. There's philosophy, and philanthropy, and and then there's also dreams and visions is one part that we'll cover probably more towards as after everything else is done, but it also comes into play for a lot of the thought process involved in behavioral science. So we're going to cover that as well. So what this basically is my version here of closing the gap of, maybe you know about some religions, you know about some cultures, you know about some other things, and behavioral science, or the social studies that we have in school, is based on a lot of this. And so why don't we close that gap so everybody can have an open discussion, understand each other, instead of things happening like what happened on Wednesday. And I was actually doing that live as apparently all that was happening. As I got out of my live show, that I discovered that it had happened. And of course the, what I was doing my live on was behavioral science, and here all that is going on. I was quite upset actually to hear about all of that, and but I want to continue on. I want to you know, keep that gap being closed so that we all can have the discussion and not have things like that happen, because we all have to have tolerance for each other. And that is one of my biggest things, as the All About the Alternative is not to cover just one thing. It's covering all sides, covering more than your usual thing. And that's one of my biggest things that I've always felt and wanted to cover. It was very important to me. Anyway, without, that's what we would do. Anyway, so you have my live that I did on Wednesday. I will be doing more of those to cover each one of these books individually. Now, I'd like to actually, like I said, have the discussion. I'm not a scholar. I'm not although part of what I did when I was in college was related to this. I don't have, because I don't have that kind of degree or anything, but there's no reason why we can't use books to learn and get and grow with each other to learn. But if somebody is a scholar and they'd like to join in on the live and come in on the discussion, I would be more than welcoming it, and just keep in mind that keep everything, no profanity and no. I'm not. You're not here to start an argument. I'm here to start a discussion, and there's no grading anybody. There's no degrading anybody in regards to that. That would be one of my basic rules there. So I look forward to anybody who would like to join me in on these discussions. I will try to do them as often as I can to cover it. Obviously, there's quite an extensive long list here, so it's going to take some time to go through. Just keep that in mind. You don't even have to be, you don't have to have any kind of background in any of this to just join in on it with me and have the discussion. We can open up questions and talk about it, and if we don't know the answers, that's when we go and find out. That's one of the things that has always been something I enjoy is the learning process. So we'll look forward to that, and hopefully you will join me on it. One thing I can do with the live is, because it's so much easier for me to actually show the book as I'm talking about it, or I can show different things about what I'm talking about. So we're going to do that. And then also I have a Facebook group that I recently started that is actually all about the alternative file sharing page. There is another all about the alternative page, but Facebook page that is which I normally share when I'm doing a review or I'm doing something else. I normally share them there. This one here is the all about the alternative file sharing page, and for this one I will leave it open for a little bit, and then we will put it into private as time goes on. Probably within, maybe within a month or so, I will close it up to be private, and each book that I'm going to be talking about, all the files that I talk about, they will be all available there. So you can join me in there. You can download the pages that I'm talking about. Any of my own, like the Rocket book, for example, when I was doing those, my personal pages that I have made, I will be sharing there. All my recipes I can put actually on there and share out recipes, and whether they're actually part of my channel or not, I may have some additional ones that I may just share there. And over time I may actually wind up doing the video on them, but I'm not going to guarantee that, because time being what it is. But we can discuss things there. You can leave me a message there if there's something that you'd like to see. If there's something that of interest to you that you'd like to see, you can leave comments on any of the videos regarding this. You can leave a comment on here as well. I'd always appreciate that if you can give me a like and a subscribe as you're joining me as well. It's an open discussion, but of course That's where I want to keep it going. And my all my biggest thing of it is that closing that gap of everybody learning about each other is the big important here. So and that's what I've always been all about. The alternative is that's what we're all about. So, like I said, hopefully you can give me that like, that subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one, and I'll see you on the lives. Have a good day.